Nicolas Cage is unhinged. He is uncaged for this role.
Because you are the dark.
Drive-by movies, you're watching
Fresh releases.
My name's Blaise.
And I'm James.
And this week we're talking about Nick Cage's latest film, Longlegs.
But you didn't. And that has led to all of this.
Nick Cage plays the title role of Longlegs. The movie is about the pursuit of a serial killer and an FBI agent who uncovers a series of occult clues that she must solve to end this terrifying killing spree. Longlegs, the movie that is heavily being advertised by Neon, the scariest movie of the year, the scariest movie in decades, the scariest movie of all time. Nicolas Cage is unhinged. He is uncaged for this role, and they're not even showing him. They're only seeing like little glimpses and teasers, trailers, commercial spots, whatever you want to call them, even on posters as well too. A lot of people are leaking photos from their screenings at the theater to post it online just because of how haunting he is. Is the movie worth the hype? What did you think of it, Blaise?
So I have to say the marketing from Neon has been next level exploitation marketing, which I honestly loved. And to see a lot of people get so stoked about this movie or excited for it because they're playing into the marketing, I think worked really well. Obviously, we saw at the box office this made 22 million, so that's a huge opening for Neon, and especially even just a horror film that's kind of on the lower budgetary end, but just like more indie, I guess, with Neon. But yeah, like it was awesome to see this film kind of finally come out because it seemed like everyone just constantly kept talking about it. I don't know if I'm assuming it played at film festivals before and that's where the kind of the hype came from as well, or if it was just solely marketing. But yeah, this definitely, I have to say, it was like one of those films where you watch it, and I actually got the same feeling in Speak No Evil, although it was like definitely worse, I would say. But this was like one where I came out and I was like disgusted. I was like, oh man, that was a rough watch. Like I didn't feel like anything that I saw was rough, but just like the culmination of everything was just pretty intense, I would say. And yeah, I just came out being like, oh, like really unnerved. And I feel like rarely does a horror film do that to me, you know?
Yeah, and a lot of people forget that, you know, getting scared is a subjective thing where it's just like, you know, it really caters towards your specific taste and scenario. Are you a person who thinks that, you know, Blair Witch Project is the scariest film of all time, or you think it's the stupidest movie of all time? Or are you a person who thinks Sinister is the scariest movie, which I think according to science, that is like apparently the scariest film of all time, just judging from like heart rate research studies or something. But you know, you and I are like part of the latter of just like thinking that, like, you know, those movies don't do it for us. The typical mainstream jump scare movie, whether it's a Conjuring movie, you know, nothing against those movies. Like I said, horror is subjective. It depends what scares you. Jump scares, you know, they'll get me to jump, but that's not what scares me at the end of the day. Movies that just have that eerie, creepy feeling is what freaks me out. And this movie definitely falls into that category of just how uncomfortable it felt. I wouldn't say Nicolas Cage is doing anything I haven't seen him do. I think it's just the makeup that is really unsettling, because he does look like a normal person. Like we all have seen Longlegs in real life, and that's what's kind of horrifying about this movie. All of us have seen that guy, whether it's at a bus stop or behind you in line at like the pharmacy or something. We've all seen that guy who just kind of talks to himself, just makes you feel uncomfortable and gross, and just like, you know, they might say something nice, but there's something just uncomfortable about it. And that's what really got under my skin about his character. And, you know, who doesn't love a satanic storyline within the movie too? But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fantastic. It's a little overhyped, I will say. It's probably not going to be my favorite horror film of the year, but that just goes to show how good horror films have been this year. Because just like 2 months ago, everyone was saying Late Night at the Devil was the scariest and best horror film we've gotten in decades. And then Maxine, that was a huge hype movie that people were looking forward to. Not, for like scariest movie, but that was like a horror film that a lot of people were looking forward to. We still got Terrifier 3 coming out, and then Longlegs, a movie that was like the devilish experience that just came out. But yeah, what a year for horror so far.
I mean, I'm not really interested that much in the Terrifier series, but is Terrifier 3 gonna be, it's on Halloween, right? Like it's gonna actually come out on Halloween?
It comes out in October, I believe, and it's a Christmas movie apparently. So maybe it might get delayed and come out around December, but again, I'm not really big on Terrifier. I enjoyed the first movie, but not enough to like ever rewatch it. Terrifier 2, I've talked about it on the show before. I passed out watching it, but I was entertained by how stupid and disgusting it was. And I don't really have that much interest in the third one, but I'll probably still end up seeing it though. But for me though, the top horror film of the year is In a Violent Nature. A lot of people are saying that's the stupidest, most pointless movie they've ever seen, but I thought that movie was fantastic and highly recommend that. But Longlegs is what we're here to talk about, and it's gonna be very divisive because of the slow build it is. It's a specific style horror that gets under your skin and might not work for everyone, but also narrative wise it is also a slow paced movie as well.
Yeah, I would say that this kind of, for me, is just the culmination of Osgood Perkins like directing. It seems like this is just that next step forward. We've seen his films in the past, like Hansel and Gretel, and one of my favorite films that he did was I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. I thought that film was absolutely terrifying. That was probably hits right into my level of like scary movie because it was so atmospheric, and that's something that he really does well in this film, is creates that really eerie, atmospheric kind of tone. But I do think that the film does have enough kind of like jump scares in it that we haven't really seen in his work before in a way. I don't think that stuff necessarily worked for me, but it definitely kept me on the edge of my seat in terms of like, oh, something gonna like almost like not even pop out, because it was a lot of just random cuts. Like it was really in the editing. It wasn't actually in like the staging or blocking of certain scenes or anything. It was really just the editing. So that it'll miss a couple marks for me there, just on like the kind of frantic editing in a way that I felt like was unnecessary to keep the audience like its heart palpitations going in a way.
Mm-hmm. What worked for me best was, you kind of touched up on it, but was the cinematography for the movie. I don't remember the director of photography's name, but I think I read that it was his first film. And, whether it was Osgood Perkins' direction or just like, the cinematographer really knowing what kind of shots were needed for this film, I really enjoyed the fact that like every shot I'm looking in the background for something, because there's so many just lingering, slow building just shots that are just like, it just keeps the camera steady and just stays there for a long period of time, which made me feel uncomfortable while watching the movie. And I saw this at a Cineplex with multiple theaters. I saw it at the Chinese theater. It wasn't sold out, but it was packed for a huge screen. And gotta give it credit also, like from what I'm hearing, everyone's saying that this has been the nicest theater experience I've gotten, because everyone's silent the whole movie, which is very rare. But also, it sucks that that's rare these days, because that should be the normal at all movie theaters. I know it was the normal for quite some time. We just forgot. And whenever we get an experience like that, it's just like so rewarding. We're just so pleased. We're like, oh, that was such a great theater experience. But it just sucks that like something so normal is something so rare these days.
Yeah, I have to say, like, the person I was going with was asking me if there's going to be any Edgars at the theater. And I was like, I don't know if there is or not. Like, I'm not sure. Like, I don't go to the classy establishments when I go to the movies. I like that down and dirty kind of grungy aspect. But I will say, like, everyone was pretty quiet during this movie, very entertained. Some people did abandon ship maybe halfway through, because I think the pacing was a little slow for them. But I will say, like, this was one where I was surprised that I think it was so different than what people are used to in a way that it really did kind of capture your attention, even if this wasn't a style of pacing of a movie that you're kind of used to. And that's one thing I think getting into this movie that I'm kind of surprised about the success, or I guess kind of happy about the success in a way. It was that the going into this movie, I didn't know what it was about. I might have seen a trailer, but I don't think the trailer really exposes anything. I did watch some of the promotional material with the Mike Monroe heartbeat thing and all that kind of like marketing that was like very exploitation-esque, like really like if you want to see what Nicolas Cage looks like as Longlegs, you're gonna have to go to the theater because you're not getting it online. Like that was kind of the marketing aspect. Like if you want to see something that you don't know what it is, you have to go pay the admission. And I like that marketing paid off, because so often are we seeing the whole movie in the trailer, and then by the time the second trailer comes out, you're getting even more of the movie, and then you get to the theater and there's nothing left for you that you haven't seen yet. So I thought that was very refreshing, and it was awesome that the box office rewarded Neon for that style of marketing, because it feels like nowadays we're convinced that everyone wants to see everything before they go and pay their ticket. And I think this is a great litmus test that people want to be their like experience to be challenged in a way. They don't want just that status quo. Okay, you're gonna watch everything in the trailer, you're gonna see all the cool moments. Second trailer, you're gonna see the whole movie, and then when you go to see the movie, you're just kind of watching that remix almost in your mind of what happened. But yeah, I would say that I like that this exploitation marketing. Will this, in the future be kind of exercised upon again? And I'd like to hope so, because I think that 22 million is nothing to scoff at for a movie like this.
Right. I think they would have been happy with 22 million just, domestic. But the fact that they got that opening weekend, like, just goes to show that Neon did something right. And, I'm expecting a big drop off in its second week. It'll probably drop off 60%. But I see this movie having long legs at the box office, though, for the most part, just because, the hype is strong. A lot of people are going to want to check it out. And, even though it might have a big drop off in the second week, I think that each week, though, it'll still get like a good 3 million going forward for a couple weeks here to go, just because audiences are always into horror films, and this is the movie that everyone was like hyping up for this summer. And there's a couple more movies to look forward to for the summer too, but it seems like this is it. And everyone's always looking for that gritty rated R movie. I'm glad this is it. Great marketing behind it, and not great marketing before Speak No Evil, the trailer I saw before this movie, because that's an example of what you're bringing up. They show literally the whole movie. They show the twist of the movie twice within the trailer, and all that's missing. This is spoilers for the movie. We have seen the original version. We reviewed it here on the show, but the ending's very brutal for that movie, and that's the only thing that might be different with this remake. And maybe they'll change it up a little bit, but that's really all we have to look forward to with this remake. Just like, oh cool, James McAvoy, and we'll get to see how he does within the movie and see how the sequences play out in this remake. But I assume they're gonna be the same.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be the same, especially just the way that they showed us so much in that trailer. I watched that trailer last night even before Twisters, and I was just thinking the same thing, like they're literally showing the entire movie. They're showing twists in the movie, like in the trailer, and it's just like, okay, do you think this is gonna get more people in the seats than showing them that, hey, something is really unnerving with James McAvoy, and you see a glimpse of that and you don't know what it is, so you need to go to see the movie to know what it is? Like they very clearly show this in the trailer. It's like so obvious, like if you can't put that together, like come on. And that was a very like hidden kind of thing in the original film. I will say, like the original film, since we watched on Shudder, we didn't get the promotional marketing material, so like we went in and got rewarded for not knowing anything about the movie before we pressed play on it, obviously. But yeah, I would say like that's excellent example of what people just have deemed as the status quo for marketing, and which I think is horrible marketing. But I'm sure there's probably people that there's a reason that they keep using that type of marketing, because they think it works, Right.
Yeah, we'll see when that movie comes out how it does box office wise, but I think it would have benefited going with the Longlegs style promotion by saying the most disturbing movie you'll ever see, because that's what got us to see the original version. That's like, everyone, Shudder kept typing it up. People were saying you will never see anything this disturbing of an ending for a movie. That's all they had to say for that movie to get people in to go see it. I think enough people like James McAvoy, and a lot of people are always down for a new horror film. That's all they had to do to get people to go see, and instead show us the whole movie. And so we'll see what's up when that movie comes out. But yeah, Longlegs was a great surprise. Like, I think some of the people, because everyone I know on Letterboxd who like had seen it like a month in advance, and everyone was saying like 5-star movie, best movie I've seen horror film wise in years. So I went in expecting that, and I didn't get that, but it's still a very good, solid movie that I highly recommend checking out. Great way to help support the show, just letting us know what you thought about the movies. Is it overhyped? Is it the best you've seen, or is it one of the best in years? Let us know in the comments below, because we'd love to chat with you.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all our latest updates.
And speaking of updates, catch all our social media links down below for Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and our own personal Letterboxd accounts. That'll conclude this week's episode. Tune in next week for a brand new video.